guys, it's Sherry. I hope that you are having an awesome day. Y'all, let's do some more fabulous paper crafting. Stay tuned. So in a previous video, we made this amazing desktop organizer. It will hold your papers from various sizes, from 12 by 12 down to 6 by 6. You can put your glue bottles, your ruler, your scissors, all types of goodies in this organizer. And you don't necessarily have to use it for your craft room. You can put this anywhere in your house where you might want to store and organize some of your home goods. And this was fabulous. But as we continue in our quest to become more organized and more stylish in our crafting spaces and our workspaces, today's project is equally as fabulous. And here is what we're going to be making. This is a carry-all caddy. Now, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I'm crafting and I'm making large pieces, I'm on the floor doing it. So I'm constantly having to get up, go get my glue, go get my scissors, all types of craziness going on. And these old bones, on some days, they don't really want to cooperate. The knees aren't what they used to be. So when I do have to work on the floor with a larger project, I can just drop all of my necessary crafting essentials in this caddy, grab it by the handle, and scooch on over to the floor and get to working, because it is so sturdy and so easy to carry. Now, of course, we want it to be stylish. It has to be functional, but it also needs to be stylish. And I went for the more minimalist look in my styling, but you could certainly embellish this to the hilt if you wanted to. What I did do on the back side was I added this sweet little pink bow so that if it's sitting out and you're seeing it from the back is just as cute as the front. So this is what we're going to make for our craft room. But like I said about the larger one, you don't have to use this in the craft room. You can place this in your guest bathroom or your bathroom. You can place it in your kitchen. When we get back to having those outdoor cookouts and barbecues and family gatherings, this is a great condiment holder. So you could place all of your condiments in here, or you could place your napkins, or you could place everything that you need to make your event go off without a hitch. So y'all know what time it is. Time to make it. So here is what we're going to need to make our project. We need a template piece that measures 2 by 4. We need 2 pieces that measure 2 by 8. And guys, I am still using the foam board. If you have chipboard, you can substitute that for this project. If you don't have chipboard, but you have cereal boxes or cardboard and you want to substitute that, use whatever you have and whatever you think will work for you. But I am using foam board that I purchased from Hobby Lobby. So you need 2 pieces that measure 2 by 8. 2 pieces that measure 4 3/8 by 3 1/2. 2 pieces that measure 8 by 3 1/2. 1 piece that measures 5 1/8 by 8 1/2. And 1 piece that measures 8 by 8. Then I will be using this little file drawer bracket. And I also will be using a couple of my metal rivets. Now, I will have links in the description box for these 2 items. But if you are looking for foam board, like I said, I get mine from Hobby Lobby, but you'll need to do an internet search if you don't have a Hobby Lobby near you, or simply use what you do have available to you. And then I'm going to be using 2 rolled papers. I have this black and white rolled paper that I got from Hobby Lobby many years ago. This roll of paper is probably 5 years old, maybe a little older. Hobby Lobby no longer sells this particular black and white rolled paper. They don't sell rolled paper anymore. So if you're looking for rolled paper, please do an internet search. I will not be able to assist you with tracking down this paper or any other rolled paper. I'm getting a lot of requests asking me to recommend rolled papers, and I'm not able to help with that, guys. There aren't enough hours in the day for me to be able to do all of the individual requests that I do receive. So you'll need to do a Google search and see what you can find on the internet that might appeal to you, or visit your local craft store or your local book binding store. They tend to have large sheets of paper, and in some cases they may even have rolled paper. So I'm using this black and white stripe, and then I'm using that gorgeous black and white contact paper that I got from the Dollar Tree. You guys saw me use this quite a bit over the summer. Well, I'm bringing it back for this project because I think it's just so elegant. So this is contact paper. So we need to grab our 2 pieces that measure 8 by 3.5 and our 2 pieces that measure 4 3/8 by 3.5. Now I have already added double stick tape to the back of mine, and I am just going to lift this up using my finger blade. So all I'm doing is removing that backer sheet. All right, guys, so what I have done is I have laid out my black and white paper, and I'm using the lines on my mat to try to keep everything straight so that the lines on my black and white stripes will be as straight as possible going across. Now, you'll never get perfection, but I'm trying to get it just a little bit straighter so that the lines won't look all wonky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my piece that measures 4 3/8 by 3.5, and I'm just going to place that down just like this. And I'm giving myself about 1 inch of a border here at the bottom. Then I'll take my 8.5 by 3.5 inch piece, and I'm going to place it down. And when I place it down, I want to make sure that when I place it, I am placing it so that I have enough space between this piece and this piece so that when this folds like this, it'll have room to fold and won't be forced against this piece, which will cause your paper to split. So I am going to just take this before I press it into place. I'm going to make sure I have it as straight as I can get it. Then I'll bring in my second piece that measures 4 3/8 by 3.5. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to place it down. And I am definitely making sure that my ends are as even as possible. And now I'll take my final piece that measures 8 by 3.5. And we are going to put that piece down. And now I'm going to use my finger blade just to trim. And when I'm trimming, y'all, I'm making sure that I give myself about 1 inch of a border on both ends. So now that we have our piece like this, I am going to go ahead, take the bottom and just fold it all the way across like this, and then I'll fold it like that. And what that's doing is just giving me a little triangle area to cut here at the bottom. So I am going to go in between each one of these and cut out a triangle. And that's just going to make it easier for us to fold our box and get it secured to the base. And then I'll come over here to my corners, and I am just going to miter here, and I'll miter right here. Then I'm going to turn it like this because I also want to do a miter here, just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and just notch that out. Then I'll come to the opposite end, and we're going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to miter there, and then I'll just go ahead and notch that out because it's just going to make it easier. So now that we have our ends mitered, I am going to go ahead and take some glue, and I'm only going to do this on one end. Doesn't matter which end you start with. And I'm going to take my glue and place it on this piece and go ahead and get it folded and wrapped around. Don't do it to the other end. We're only doing it to one end of this. And so now what we're going to do is we're simply going to tape from end to end all the way across on the foam board. So I'll bring in my tape, and I'm just going to put down 3 strips of tape. So I'm going to take this, bring it over, and I'll bring it all the way over to the end of that foam board. And then I'll do the same thing here. I'm going to add another strip of tape, bring it all the way over, and then we will do it with our final piece. So we're going to bring it all the way over. So what we're going to do now is we're simply going to take our piece and fold it over, but I am going to fold it over in stages. So I am actually going to come in right here and just lift up a piece of this tape. I don't want to take the whole thing. And what I'm trying to do is basically control that paper because it's such a large piece that I really don't want it getting stuck in the tape before I want it to be stuck in the tape. So I'm basically cutting out a portion so that I can bring it over like this, and I'm going to lay it down in that portion that I have already stuck. So we'll put that down first. And so now I can go in on the inside and remove the rest of that tape from that top layer. So now I have better control. So then I'll come over to this side and lift the tape as well. And now I can take this side and put it down, trying to avoid getting wrinkles in the paper. Now you might have a few spots, but just take your stylus and you can sort of iron those out. So now I'm going to take this second piece, since I've already laid down that top piece, and just place this down. And you can see that I'm getting just a little bit of wrinkling, but that's okay. And then I'm going to lift up my very last piece all the way across, and I'll go ahead and just bring this down. And then I'll just use my big old spatula to smooth everything out. And you can see that I have a slight wrinkle vein there. That's okay because it is on the inside and you really will not see it. So now that we have everything covered, I'll just use my finger blade on this end to trim away all of that excess paper. And then on this end, this is where our glue flap is going to be. So we do need to come back, place your blade against the foam board, and trim away that excess. So then what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to take these glue flaps and just fold them backwards so that I can trim away this excess. So I'll just use my finger blade and go in and trim. So now that we have it like this, I am just going to stand it up and fold those glue flaps in just like that. So then I'll take my box and I'm simply going to put it together by taking that glue flap and matching the stripes. So I'll take my glue, place my glue on that glue flap. Now I can take this and put it together, trying to match those stripes up as best I can, y'all. Won't always be perfect, but it will be close enough. So now we have our box base. So I am just going to tuck all of that in like that. So we are going to take this, set it to the side so that we can do the base. So let's grab our base, and the base is the piece that measures 5 1/8 by 8 1/2. And I've already placed my tape on the back. So I am going to remove that. And then I'm going to bring in some more of my rolled paper. Try to get it straight. And then I'll take this base and I'm just going to sit it down on the rolled paper. And I cut off enough rolled paper so that I can do a complete wraparound and not have to add in an extra piece of paper. So here's what I mean. I'll be able to pull this over and pull this over and fold these under and have a complete wraparound. But I am going to remove just a little bit of this because I don't need all of this paper. And I'm going to remove a little from here too. And now I'm going to miter just like that. And I'm mitering on all 4 sides. And I can tell that I need to change my blade because my cuts aren't as clean or as crisp as they normally are. So I'll be changing my blade after I finish this video. So now that we have this, I am simply going to glue this down. You can use double stick tape if you want, but I am just going to use my glue. Get that stuck. And I'll do this end. Get it stuck. And I don't know about you guys, but I think that black and white stripes are just so classy. So I am going to just place some glue here so that we can stick that down. And tuck this in a little bit. And now I can fold this over. And we'll do the same thing here. Take my glue, place my glue on that piece. Trim away just a little bit of this ugly. And then we'll fold that over, get it stuck. And once that glue dries, not coming up. And so now we have our base, and all we're going to do is take our base, place our glue on the glue flaps here, and put it down. This time I gave myself just a little more room on the base, so you will have about a 1/4 inch border going all the way around. So now I'm just going to take my glue, place my glue on the glue flaps, making sure that I give myself some really good coverage. And we're going to take this, place it down on our base. We can finagle it to get it squared and also centered on the base, front and back and sides. So I'm just spinning it to see if I need to make any adjustments. And I think I am going to call that okay. So now I'll use my ruler to go in and get those flaps secured to the base. Y'all, this is what we end up with. This has to dry, but once it dries, this is not going anywhere. So now we're going to take our handle, and it measures 8 by 8. And I am just going to take this and see how it's going to fit. So I might need to remove just a little bit from the side, and I'll start doing that a little bit at a time. I'm not going to take off a whole lot because I really do want a very snug fit on this. So I am just going to cut away in small increments. So then once I have it cut, I'll do another test fit. And this time I want it to be a little bit resistant when I put it in. So this is perfect because this is not going anywhere. So now what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to take my template that measures 2 by 4, and we're going to place it down so that we can cut out a handle. And all I'm going to do is use my tape runner to put some tape on the back of this so that this will stay in place while I'm cutting it out. And I'm pretty much eyeballing where I'm putting this. So now that I have my handle down, all I need to do is trim around it until it's ready to be removed. And then I can just pop it out. If I need to go in and clean up any that might be hanging behind, I can. So that's really all you need to do to cut out that holder on that handle. All right, guys, so now that we have our handle cut out, we're going to go ahead and place it down on the contact paper. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to remove all of the contact paper at once, because again, I do want to keep a little bit of control over this contact paper. So I'm going to remove the backer to this point. Then I'm going to place this down, but I'm going to place it down again, giving myself about an inch border. So when I place it down like that, what I'm going to do is I am going to go to the middle and make a cut going to the corner, and then I'll come to this side, make a cut here going to the corner. So then I'll make another cut from that center and go into that corner, and then I'll turn it around this way and make another cut going to that corner. And that way I can just grab the pieces and pull them nice and tight and fold them over just like that. So I'm going to do this on all 4 sides of this. Then I'll do a miter right there. And then I'll do a miter right here and fold it over. Then I'm going to come here and do a miter, and I'll take that piece and fold it over. Come to the opposite side and do another miter. And now we'll fold these pieces over. And so now I can remove the rest of the backer from the contact paper. And I'll take this piece and just bring it over to that piece. I'm going to flip it over to make sure I don't have any air bubbles. And if you have air bubbles, just lift up, straighten those air bubbles out, and then you can put it back down. So now I'm going to use my big old spatula just to get everything nice and straightened out. Then I'll use my finger blade to trim away the excess. And then we'll also finish cutting out that opening. So I'm going to trim away there. Trim away that excess here. And then I'll trim away this bottom piece. And now what we need to do, we need to go in on the inside and just trim away this excess. So I'm just very carefully going to go on that inside and trim out that excess. And now we have our nice little opening And guys, I realized that I folded up a piece that I should not have folded up. So this is contact paper, so that's good because I can lift it up. On that bottom, this bottom piece right here, I need to keep it out because it's a glue flap. So all I'm doing is lifting this up, and I'm going to pull this piece back out. And now I can take that piece, put it down, and I'll take this piece and put it down. So when you are folding over, don't fold over that bottom piece the way that I did. Leave it out because you're going to need it as a glue flap. So before we put this in, we're going to go ahead and put down this little piece here so that if you wanted to put a little label in here, you could. And then I'll be using 2 of the medium-sized rivets. So when you buy the box, you get small, medium, and large in different colors. I'm going to be using 2. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and put this down because it's easier to put it down when the handle has not been attached. So I am pretty much eyeballing this to figure out where I want it. And then I'm going to bring in my paper piercer and just punch a hole on both sides as my guide. And then I'll just punch through those holes. So now I can take my file label holder, put it right there, and I'll do the same thing with this one. So let's punch it through, and you can see that that just adds an extra flare of cuteness to that box. So now all you need to do is just come on the inside, take this little piece, and just put it on top. And then I like to just use my hammer and just give it a little pound, not a lot. Then I'll put this one on, use my hammer, get that nice and stuck. And now we have a really sweet little front to our box so that if we wanted to label this caddy, we could. Now we get to place our handle. So we're going to take our glue, and I'm going to place my glue directly where the contact sticky side would be. And I'm being very generous with that glue. And I'm going to take this, and because I'm going for such a snug fit, I really don't need to worry about putting glue on the side. So when I get it stuck, guys, I'm just turning it to the side to make sure I have it nice and straight and where I want it. And when I do, I'll use my ruler again to get this stuck. And isn't that super cute? So the last thing that we need to do is we need to take our pieces that measure 2 by 8, and we're going to put those on the inside, but do a test fit like this and like this to make sure that it's going to go in. If it's not, if you're getting any resistance, then you need to remove just a little bit, and I can see that I need to remove a little bit of mine. So I am just going to start a little cut line, and then I'll remove this. And then once you have it shaved down, do another test fit, and we can see that that fits that way, and it fits this way. And when I have a good fit, guys, I am just going to place this down on my contact paper. And now I can just trim these out. We'll get them stuck. And we are going to be done. All right, guys, so we are going to take our glue, place our glue on the back, and this is how we're going to make sure that our handle does not go anywhere. I'll take this piece, put it in the corner, and then just force it down. Then I'll use my ruler to go on the inside to make sure it stays stuck. I'll add some more glue to my final piece. And then I'll take my final piece, we're going to put it in and push it down. But then the final thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of my hot glue. I have one of my sweet pink Anna Griffin bows, and I am going to place it on the back, just like that. So now we have a very cute back to this, as well as a gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous front. All right, guys, so we are back. And if you heard a bell ringing throughout my video, it was not an angel getting its wings. It was my sweet puppy, Loki. She has been with me all day, got a little restless, so you might have heard a little bit of bell ringing. So, having put Loki down, I am now back to wrap everything up. We made another absolutely gorgeous caddy. Isn't this black and white absolutely fabulous? Now, like I said before, you can put so many different things in here. For me, when I get the old bones down on the floor, I'll have my caddy with me and I'll be able to stay on the floor working instead of getting up and down, up and down. But this caddy is multifunctional. You can find so many wonderful uses for it, and I'm sure you guys will. And just like I said about the other caddies, this is not a hard project at all. You can do this. I know you can. So guys, if you have liked this video, and I certainly hope that you have, please hit the like button. And if you're not a subscriber to my channel, I would love to have you join. You guys, be safe, be kind, happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.